I know. You can find Thou Shall Not Whine at Amazon.com.
Welcome back to the No Wine Zone. We're visiting with my guest today, Jim Foley, who is based in California, and he is marketing a brand new item, and it's called Did You Feed the Dog? And it's that perfect solution to that important question we all ask each other every morning after we wake up. Now, tell us a little bit about your history. Is this the first product you've invented?
A few years ago, I took a stab at inventing an application, a software application, which I guess had some social network beginnings. But a guy named Mark Zuckerberg kind of beat me to the punch on that one. So I wasn't necessarily a software developer, and I think that was proven out. But this is my first true product that we've invented from scratch, and it's proving to be quite fun, learning how to do it and go through the patenting process and the prototyping process and the manufacturing process. It's all new to me, so we're enjoying it. We're having a good time with it.
Okay, well, let's walk through this process because I have never invented anything. So tell us what happens. The first thing you do is you had to get a patent for your product?
Well, I think the first thing that happened in our house was that we had a problem. And it was that question of, it's the old mother, or necessity is the mother of invention. It was one of those things where we really just got tired of asking ourselves every morning and every evening, in a family of five, someone would be yelling through the house, "Did you feed the dog?" And it kind of got boiled down to me and my son because we seem to be the most connected with the animals, so therefore we'd be responsible. And then it became much more imperative when one of our dogs, our boxer, started requiring medication along with her food each morning and each evening. So we didn't want to miss any pills, and we didn't want to overdose any pills, and we didn't want to underfeed or overfeed. So it started with just sticking a label around the pill bottle, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday down the side, and we put a little check mark next to AM and PM and AM and PM, and then eventually, as you can imagine, the label, we ran out of label, and we put another label on, and then, so I think we were onto something there. It's like, well, here's a good way, simple, no technology, very analog, way of to do this. Is there some way we can make it more permanent? And I think it took us about 5 minutes to kind of sketch something out, and then we passed it around to a couple of people, and they said, yeah, we ask that question every single morning. So there seemed to be an immediate acceptance of the idea.
Okay, well, I can relate a little bit to this because I have my pill box, 7 days of pills, morning and evening, and I do that, but I've never thought about doing that with the dog. So you came up with this patent, and so you got it patented. Is that the next step?
Well, we had to get some technical drawings, some computer-aided designing, drawings done, and then we used an attorney to submit that for a design patent. And that whole process took about a year from the time that you submit.
Really?
And there's about 9 months to a year before the patent office actually gets through and approves it. So we just received our design patent about 2 weeks ago, which was kind of nice.
Okay. And, so now this actual device is attractive and will blend into your home easily. I have it up on my website. Describe a little bit what it was like to actually design it. Who did the actual design with the AM, PM, and all of that? That looks pretty neat.
Yeah, it was a family effort, and there was a desire to kind of make it look like a modern day cell phone. It seems to be something that everybody's very handy and very comfortable and familiar with. So we designed it in the spirit of a phone. And if you look at the AM and PM switches, where you're supposed to slide it left and slide it right each time you feed one of the dogs, it very much resembles the little switch that you'd use when you turn on and off your Wi-Fi on your phone. So we thought that was a nice iconic image.
Okay. Okay, the product dimensions are 4 3/8 by 6 by 5/8, with 2 mounting options included, 2 pieces of sticky foam tape, and 2 pieces of sticky magnetic material. You can mount it on your washer, dryer, kitchen wall, or anywhere. And the price is $9.95. How did you come up with that price?
We tested it in some local stores here in Marin County. We went out and we tested 12 different stores, and each month we adjusted the price, half $1 or $1 one way or the other, and it seemed to sell the most at the $9.95 price. So that's where we stuck. We started at $14.95, and we sold some, but we sold more at $9.95. So I think we'll do better at that price.
Okay. So now when you have more than one dog, so you need to have 2 or 3 of these. Well, you have 4 animals. Do you have 4 of them now?
Well, the cats don't lie. This is more a device that stops the dogs from lying, because the routine was, if my son left for school, I'd look at the dogs and say, "Did Sam feed you?" And they'd give me that look like, "Oh no, there's no way he fed us." So the cats don't seem to have that tendency. So it was really to clamp down on the dogs. But we use the same device for the dogs because we feed them at the same time. They eat together, so we only need one device. It seems to work pretty well for us.
Okay, and I like the part where there's no batteries or training. It's pretty self-explanatory. And at the end of each week, you push the sliders to the left and you just start over. I think I could use one of these for my pills. Have you thought about doing this for humans?
We have. We've actually got a couple of suggestions. One is, did you take your pills? And there was another one where a mother had young kids suggested that she could place it on the mirror in her kids' bathrooms, and it could say, "Did you brush your teeth?" Because that's, we raised our kids. I think we asked that question every single night. Did you brush your teeth? Did you brush your teeth? So I think there's other applications for the product, and we're considering all of them, of course.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's perfect, because did you brush your teeth? Did you comb your hair? Did you make your bed?
Did you kiss your wife? For Valentine's Day, I think that would work quite well. Kiss your wife twice a day, right?
Well, okay. So now, how has this impacted your family life with this invention that it sounds like you've all been involved with? How has that impacted the family?
Everyone's taking their turns, taking boxes down to the post office as we, box up and ship the product each night. And then we sit down just around dinner and talk about different ways to market it. So no one's really, the kids are still involved in school, and my wife still has her full-time job. But we're talking a lot more about it at the dinner table. And I know it's taking up a little bit more of my time at night, but it seems to be a family effort, and we're having a good time with it. So no complaints.
Yeah, and then we're also talking about obesity with animals. Now, this is a big problem because I know that if you just leave food out, dogs will just keep eating all day, won't they?
Most do. Yeah, there's some that free feed. They can regulate themselves, but I think the majority of dogs that we know are gluttons. They'll eat themselves into a stupor.
Yeah, and for some reason, cats don't do that, do they?
Not our cats. No, they don't seem to. They can walk past the food bowl and think nothing of it. And a dog would stop and eat every last speck of dust in it. So the cats seem to regulate a little bit better.
And this seems a great way, to instill a responsibility with children in the home so that they can keep track and take responsibility for their pets. This is a brilliant idea. Are you marketing it in that respect for an aid to children?
We are. In the press release that we've been sending out, that's actually listed as the second most important point. The first one, as you mentioned earlier, it helps reduce obesity because the dogs aren't being fed multiple times a day. And then it does, I think at a certain level, help instill a sense of responsibility and responsible pet ownership in the kids because some of the mothers have reported that their kids actually get a sense of satisfaction. Like, I did this chore and I was able to get a sense of satisfaction by sliding the slider. So, I think that's a good thing. It teaches kids about responsible pet ownership and helps the parents manage the feeding schedule for the dog. So it seems to be working on both fronts.
Yeah, and I think it's especially important when you're talking about medication so that you don't miss medication or overdose for an animal because that is such a critical thing. Okay, so now you have your sister Mary, and she indicated she had a connection for offshore production. So where is this device manufactured?
It is manufactured in China. It's very difficult to get something in the United States manufactured quickly and efficiently, and it's just a fact of life right now. So we shopped it in the U.S., but the savings, especially starting out and trying to get this thing rolling, we have the manufacturing done offshore over in China. And my sister's friend, she has a best friend of 30 years. Her husband actually is a product and materials sourcer for large chains like Target and Walmart. And when we started talking to him about this, he knew exactly where to go. And that's when the thing really started picking up the pace, because he knew how to get prototypes made. Over the course of about a year, we went through 4 prototypes, and his knowledge was instrumental in that. So it's nothing I would suggest people without that experience try to do on their own. You need to have somebody that's gone through that.
Okay. This is fascinating, and I want to hear about, when we take our break and come back, I want to hear all about developing the prototypes, the process, how you go to China to get this done. This is a fascinating thing that so many people have heard about, but you actually have done it. So we're going to be back with Jim, and we're going to share how to manufacture a prototype and produce a product in China. We'll be right back.
January's co-host, Connie Cockrell, the author of Mystery at the Fair, has been writing since 2011 after a challenge from her daughter. An eclectic writer, she's written mysteries, sci-fi, fantasy, and even a thriller. She has been included in 4 different anthologies and published on the e-zine Everyday Fiction. Connie continues to write and entertain with whatever comes into her head. You can find her books on most ebook retail sites. Paperback editions are also available. Be sure to visit her at www.conniesrandomthoughts.com, on Facebook, and on Twitter at Connie Cockrell. The new book, God Reconsidered, Searching for the Truth in the Battle Between Atheism and Religion by Scott Smith, explains why both militant atheists and believers in traditional religions ignore inconvenient truths. Scott argues in favor of the insights of Gnostic Christianity. Check out www.godreconsidered.com to read a sample chapter. That's godreconsidered.com. With over 30 years as a registered nurse with empathic abilities, Carolyn Green, a.k.a. the Energy Nurse, is bridging the gap between traditional and alternative medicine. Certified in the areas of energy medicine, life coaching, and as a medical intuitive, she brings to each client an integrative approach to body, mind, and spirit. Her book, found on Balboa Press and Amazon, Getting to Know You, Guided Pearls of Wisdom for a More Soulful Existence, is a channeled journey for clearing the mind clutter to bring about healthier thought patterns. As a motivational speaker, Carolyn brings new light to old issues and is engaging, interactive, and enlightening. With her newly launched The Energy Nurse Jewelry line, she brings to you stones and crystals that are not only beautiful to wear, but balancing and healing as well. To contact or learn more about Carolyn, go to www.theenergynurse.com.
Welcome back with my guest, Jim Foley, and he is the founder, inventor, and of a product called Did You Feed the Dog? Now, Jim, could you share with our listeners a little bit about your website, the price, and how they can order this?
Of course. They can go to www.didyouFeedTheDog.co. It's not .com. We're having a problem carrying that name. So it's didyouFeedTheDog.co, and that'll take you to our site, and it's currently the only product on there, so you can't get lost.
Okay.
The price for the product is $9.95, and a couple bucks for shipping and handling, and it'll be to your house in a couple of days if you want to buy it that way.
Okay, wonderful. Now let's back up about this doing manufacturing a product in China. This is very interesting. Now, you had to do 4 prototypes. Who designed those prototypes? How did you get those made?
Those all started with the technical drawings that I was referring to earlier. They had to be sent over there. And